It's Wealth Wednesday, and I'm Kanae Corder, the author of the book, The Art of Starting Over, and the CEO of Presidential Lifestyle. I want to talk about education, funding education, whether it's your education or your children's education. So let's talk about you first. Let's say you need to go to another level in your career and you find that you need another degree. There's nothing wrong with student loans. Student loans are good debt. And a lot of times when you're being considered for other loans after this student loan, it's not weighed harshly on your credit because they understand that student loan is good debt, as long as you're paying it back. Now, when it comes to deciding if this is going to be a good investment, you have to look into what it is that you're looking to do. So what you want to do, will it return? Like, will we be able to pay you in the long run more than you make now, enough to pay back these student loans? And you don't want to stretch student loans out too long, because nowadays student loan, they have higher interest rates than they used to. So you don't want to stretch it out too long, because then you end up paying 2 or 3 times the amount of that education. So you want to get with your financial advisor and really structure a debt repayment for that student loan debt. And when you're taking on student loan debt, you want to make sure all your other debt is paid off too. So pay off as much debt as you can before you decide to take on this student loan debt. And that way it won't have as big an impact on your credit. We can talk more about it. Leave a comment if you have questions. Moving on to funding college for your children. I am not a big fan of parents taking out loans for children to go to school. I am a big fan of student loans because it allows you to go to schools you may not otherwise be able to afford. And what school you go to can be important. And I know this is Wealth Wednesday and we're not usually talking about education, but what school you go to can determine how wealthy you can be. And I know that it's not true across the board, that's speaking in generalities, but if you go to the right school, sometimes that gets you the job. Just seeing that school on your resume gets you the job. And if you want to debate that with me, that's fine. We can leave a comment. But it's true. So moving past that, is that school, because these schools are going up at 6%. The inflation rate on college these days is 6%. So these schools are getting really expensive. And it's really ridiculous because it's such a business now, but they can demand that because the demand is there. So if you want your kids to go to a competitive school, is it worth you taking out a loan for it? I don't think so. I think that the children should have some stake in it, because you really need to be focusing on saving for retirement. Now, if you have it like that, if you're making the kind of money that allows you to save for retirement and pay for your children to go to college, or save for your children to go to college, absolutely, then good. But for most Americans, you're trying to figure out how you're going to fund all of these goals. And so funding your kids college fully may not be the right way. You may want to fund your retirement because you can borrow for school, but you cannot borrow for retirement. So that being said, when it's time to borrow for school, let the loans go in the children's name. And I know that the financial aid nowadays is a little different, and it's requiring that parents get involved in these student loans, but let's be creative on that. Let's maybe have them go to a junior college for 2 years, and maybe it's not so expensive, and then they can go to a full university. We can get more creative. Leave the comments that you have, any questions you have, and I'll answer them. But that's our Wealth Wednesday, and I want you to have a great week, rest of the week. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, favorite this video, visit presidentiallifestyle.com if you want to hear more Wealth Wednesdays and hang out with us more. It's a community of peaceful people who are pursuing abundant life but won't be stressed out doing it. All right, so join us, and I will see you sooner.